Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Jerry. Um, so this is gonna be the first. Well, technically, this is the second update of me starting my second year practicum. It is a lot of work to do, very, very busy, just because there's a lot of stuff to learn, especially when you're at a new site, you're working with new people, different clientele, and stuff like that. But I'm getting the hang of it. In terms of RuneScape, I actually found out that because my summer classes end this week. I'm going to have a little bit more time. I'm going to be dedicating some of my time to really just studying and working ahead on clinicals and just making sure that that is completely stable. And then the other time, I can probably dedicate it a little bit more to RuneScape as well. So in our last episode, I was saying, we're probably going to be doing a lot more AFK stuff. That might not necessarily be the case anymore, depending on the caseload for the week, depending on how much I really want to learn that week on my own, if that's even necessary, how much effort I want to put in. Maybe, I just want to take like a week off or something like that and just do something a little bit not really school related. I mean, that is now definitely an option until the end of summer, which, believe it or not, actually isn't even that long. It's maybe like a month and a half now because I do have fall classes starting towards about towards about August 20th ish. So during that time, I'm going to be focused a lot more on school because then I have to take my regular fall courses on top of my clinicals. So until then, we do have a little bit of leeway in terms of what we want to do. Uh, but that's all like exposition or whatever. So let's move on to the actual content, right? Um, so we got 63 rune crafting from 62. I've been actually getting pretty lucky with genie and school random events. I've been pouring all those exp lamps and tomes into rune crafting, so we're actually at 63 rune crafting now, which it, it doesn't unlock anything. Realistically, our goal is 77 rune crafting, but now every level takes about like 30k to level up. So it's gonna take me at least 3 weeks every week of just doing tiers that got to level it up. But it is what it is. Still slowly getting past the level, so it's not too bad. Like I said last episode, we are probably going to be doing more woodcutting and fire making as well. Fire making to drop my HP and then woodcutting to AFK on. I've been cutting yew trees, not really EXP efficient, but extremely AFK. Money average is like 220k an hour for me currently. So pocket change for most of you guys, but hey, still a tiny bit of gold, whatever counts, right? So in terms of fire making, went from 71 to I believe 79 fire making. Actually, not too bad. I mean, Winter Todd, not it. The mini game, in my opinion, at least makes fire making tolerable because it's not very click intensive. Games are pretty short too, and of course, there's always that very small chance of getting a phoenix, which is kind of nice. In terms of wood cutting, similarly, we went from 76 to 82, which is actually not too bad, just AFKing use. The goal at this point is to keep pushing up my levels until the 90s, at which point I can start cutting redwood trees. And whenever you're cutting redwood trees with like an infernal axe, you're gonna get a little bit of fire making EXP, and it's really, really AFK because you don't really bank redwood logs. You kind of just drop them, or you just let the infernal axe burn them for some passive fire making EXP as well. And considering how cheap dragon axes now are nowadays, this is probably actually the most efficient method, but also the most AFK method as well. So honestly, not too bad if I do say so myself. So we're still making a little progress in that domain. Um, what's really important about this episode is once I had decided that, maybe I'll have a little bit more time in summer. One of my friends, he actually invited me to do some PVM with him and some of his friends. I was really thankful for that because I used to do a lot of PVM on RS2, but because on RS3, I don't really know a lot of people that play this game, so I just kind of like mostly kept to myself. But because they had been doing PVM, I really wanted to like carry, my weight in terms of like going to kill bosses and stuff like that. So I have been doing a lot more Nightmare Zone than I've done before. So we actually got, well, what's really important is, okay, so we went from 77 to 80 defense. This is a very important level up for me because at 80 defense you unlock ferocious gloves. So I bought some the leather and then turn it into the gloves. So if you guys don't know, ferocious gloves actually is best in slot for melee in terms of strength bonus. It's actually, I believe, +3 or +6. I don't remember the exact value. I'll have to look it up on the wiki again, but it's actually better stats offense wise than Barrow's gloves. Obviously, it also has like negative range defense, so not really good if you're gonna be like tanking or anything like that, but it does give you so much like offensive bonus, which is really, really nice. And then we went from 85 to 89 attack, which is again kind of cool. My goal right now is to push all of my melees into like the mid 90s, probably around like the 92, 93 range. I think that's really a good place to stop because at that point you can do most of raid. You can do raids 1, you can do God Wars dungeon, you can do wilderness bosses, you can do like Slayer bosses, all that stuff. So it really unlocks a lot more PVM content in terms of those stats. You're going to be hitting relatively well, pretty accurately, and also you're going to be able to tank damage as well, which is really, really nice. Also went from 87 to 89 HP. Again, very good. I didn't really train strength at all this episode, just because of the fact that my strength level is already my highest melee stat, so I'm trying to get my defense and attack to 90 as well before I start training strength. Once we push HP to 92, I can then get rid of my Obsidian set because at that point, in terms of HP efficiency, you're actually going to be doing more DPS per second with Darox, which Darox naturally scales based on amount of missing hit points. And I believe at 92 on the skill calculator, I noticed that that was the break point, at which point Darox is going to be outputting a lot more damage per second compared to Obsidian gear. Once I reach that point, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the obsidian gear because it is now obsolete to me. But hey, it was, I think at the time when I bought it, it was like 6 mil. It was a good 6 mil. It's lasted me all this time. So hey, it is what it is. We had a good run, but we're almost reached that point where I no longer need it. So then it's time to sell it, unfortunately. So speaking of Winter Todd, I actually got the Pyromancer row bottoms as well as a Dragon Axe. Dragon Axe, pretty unfortunate because unless you're an Iron Man, you really don't need this drop. The good news is I'm probably going to use it as sacrifice later to make an Infernal Axe because the Infernal Axe is charged with excess Dragon Axes, so at least I don't have to buy one, which is kind of nice. But yeah, so the Pyromancer row bottom is really good. So we are one piece off from the full set, which at this point we're just missing the boots. And because I got this, I'm actually taking a lot less damage Winter Todd. I think I went from taking 7 damage per tick from the snow to 6, which is actually huge if you think about it over the long term. So like I said, with the 80 attack, I got the Ferocious Gloves you see here in the screenshot. Very sexy, by the way. I really like how they changed the icon. So it's a lot more distinguishable than the old Ferocious Gloves icon. I didn't even realize they changed it, so that was pretty interesting. Um, we also finished up the rest of Barbarian Assault, so I ended up just going back there one day, getting the rest of the unlocks. I got the penance gloves and the penance skirt. So at this point, we have the full penance set. It looks ugly as hell, and I fucking love every single piece of it because not many people are able to stomach Barbarian Assault. I really enjoy the minigame, and I will keep playing it to try and get the penance queen pet as well. Last but not least, we did some clue scrolls. Beginner clue scrolls, as always, still pretty fucking disappointing. Still haven't gotten that shoulder parrot, believe it or not. I think I've actually gotten almost every single item in terms of beginner clues outside of the shoulder parrot, so I think my luck is actually pretty poor in that regard. Did a few easy clue scrolls. I actually got flare trousers off the easy clue, which, easy 650k. So that was actually pretty lucky. I was pleasantly surprised for that. I'm probably actually gonna keep the flare trousers too because it changes your dance animation. So that's kind of like a novelty item. It's kind of like a gag item you can just play around with. So I enjoy seeing the icon on my bank. And then we did a few medium clue scrolls. Did get some uniques, but outside of that, not really anything like too interesting. I think that one with the penguin mask and the ancient page was like 180k, so not too bad, not too good either. Surprisingly, did not get any hard clue scrolls from woodcutting, so that's a little bit strange. I'm not really used to that. Usually, I do tend to get an even distribution of clues, but this week, not so much. But anyways, guys, that's basically gonna be it for this episode. Oh, here's my updated stats. We're probably just gonna keep doing what we are doing now. So really just training in Nightmare Zone whenever I have time. If I don't have time and I'm like studying during the weekday, probably going to be training woodcutting as well as fire making and continue to make progress. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode. Really appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys in about a week from now. All right. See you then. Bye bye.